All right, we're live. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
This is
morning.
Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Miss G, Miss Georgette Truen. Good morning, Miss Truen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Good. And we are joined this morning by a very special guest, Mr. Bradford Costley Sr. Bradford, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
Good,
Thank you for
good.
having me
So,
on your show as well.
my pleasure. So today, where are you coming from? Where are you located?
I'm in downtown Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. So you're right here in LA. Do you have a CPS case in Los Angeles County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start in chronological order. Why don't you tell me what's going on with you and CPS?
Currently, we have an open and active case that's been open for about, I'll say since 2017. And it's kind of been, it got closed at one point and then reopened um, like shortly after. So it's
What
open
what
now.
well what seems to be the issue? What are they accusing you of?
It would be me and mom of child neglect.
And are the children currently out of your care?
Yes,
Out of the care of the mother?
yes, as well, yes.
When is your next court hearing scheduled for?
March 13th.
Do you know what type of hearing it is?
Um, like for progress report, they wanted an update, things like that. But it's also tied to a criminal case. So it's like it would be to determine if they're going to pursue the trial and or if they're not, and or how they're going to move about the case.
Okay, so let me tell you something, Bradford, and
Hmm.
this is not unusual. I always ask, when is your next court date? And, most people know it, but you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't know their next court date. But here's the thing that is uniformly not known by the parent. I ask you what type of hearing it is because there's only certain types of hearings in a juvenile dependency case. Okay?
Okay.
That's by law. And the reason why it becomes so important is because just about at every different type of hearing, a different law applies.
Okay.
Different procedural laws apply. And of course, different evidentiary burdens apply.
Hmm.
So if you wanted to ask me something about your case, it would be difficult for me to figure out what to tell you because I don't know which hearing you're at. You follow me?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit about how CPS got involved and we'll go from there.
So the initial call came from um an anonymous person the first time around. The first worker to come out, she did her investigation. There was nothing. She didn't find anything wrong. So it closed out in the time period that they allow. Like I guess it's a month. After a month, if they don't find anything, they close it out. Was what we were told. And then not too long after that, there was like another incident. Um, they got something came from the school this time around. The school reported something. They felt things were going on in the home. So another worker came out. They investigated, and if you ask me, there wasn't really anything for them to. There was no reasonable facts as to why they removed them the first time. If you ask me, but they found their way around the system, and they made it happen the first time. Then that case went on like a very lengthy time period, about 2 years, like from 2017 to 2018, almost into 19, and then they came back home. Like after a lengthy process, they came back home. The second time around, there were allegations of the same, but except this time, it was. So the thing about the second time around, which I still don't understand, um, they, the first one was it was it was domestic like a domestic dispute. Actually, I take that back. It was a domestic dispute, And so from that dispute, I guess one of the kids must have said something in school, and then that's how that one transpired. And so the second time around, it was about there was allegations of abuse, but physical on mom's behalf. So I pretty much was included because of what they were saying, of what the children were saying. But if you ask me, it's like that, children don't have no sense of time in that respect, So they'll tell you something that happened at this point in time, but that time is not accurate, or the length of time that it happened, or the time of frame, the frame time that it happened in was like far and few, like in between. So um, they actually called me into the case the second time around late. So I'm just now getting, like, I guess a fair fight, if you will, as far as defending myself on this behalf, because I wasn't even in the home at the time. So where we're at now is they extended the time period for me to I guess to be able to enroll in my classes and take care of whatever um conditions that they're requesting from me. So the first time around, I never finished my DV. I never finished any of those. The individual, I did not fulfill my end of the contract the first time around. So what I was told by the attorney was that the public defender, is that they're using that previous status to hold up against me as the reason as to why they will not let me take custody of the children. Because other than that, there's nothing really in the way of me getting custody of the children. Me and mom do not live together, and so that was another dispute that we were having. If I will be able to get them, um, because the allegations were um, like towards mom, so to speak. So like it's just been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of emotions, um, a lot of charge built up over the last 4 years. And like also, like every other parent out there, I feel like these people have this system set up, and I'm not gonna say how I really think about it, but I will say it's not so much in the favor of the child, or at least anymore. That idea, if you ask me, is out the window. Now it's about something else. And so yeah, and I have five. I'm going through this with five in the system, so there's kind of, it's a little more. I ain't gonna say more than the next parent, but for me, it's a lot. It's a lot to have to deal with, and I'm sure mom feels the same way.
Is this the first time you're going to court, or the second time in this second case?
This would be like the fourth or fifth time actually.
Do you know, in this second case, if you've done something called the jurisdictional or dispositional hearing?
Yeah, they've done something like that already.
They've done both of those hearings?
I missed them, but so that's the thing. I didn't know about this the second time around. I just heard about it. Somebody called me one day. A lady asking for me, and then she was to let me. She was my attorney, well, my public defender, and then to let me know that I had a court date, um, on X, Y, and Z, and then that there was also another case in criminal court. So all these things caught me off guard. So I missed a lot of beginning of the proceedings and everything that was really going on.
Did you know that you could start the case all over because they didn't notify you?
So that is where we were at, and that's why I'm coming back on the 13th for a progress report, March 13th.
Okay, so here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you didn't understand it, or I don't understand the answer. I said, did you know that the case could be started over because you had lack of notice?
No, I did not know that.
Did you ever talk to your public defender?
We did, and I'm not too. I do not remember the motion that she filed too well, but it allocated me 6 additional months to make progress.
Okay. And did they order you to do certain types of classes or counseling or something like that?
Yeah. DV, parenting, and individual. They even actually wanted me to do a mental health assessment because I admitted that I had previous mental health services, but I wasn't currently involved in the services. But they were still asking me to do these things almost as if they were forcing them upon me.
Okay. Hold on a second. Was that court ordered?
Yes, they put it in the how do you call it? They put it in the plan.
The disposition case plan?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing. Was there enough facts to support the court making that order without you just agreeing to it?
No. If you ask me, no. Everything that they're moving off of right now, evidence wise, is hearsay. That's why this case that's been open for about a year already, and even in the criminal court has not moved. The criminal court has they freeze their they gave up their jurisdiction to children's court.
Well, I've never heard of that before, but are you being criminally prosecuted or is the mother?
They're putting us both there. We're both in there.
And who is your attorney in the criminal court?
I have a public defender.
Okay. And you have a public defender in the
Children's court as well.
criminal court as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the second case was started because of something the mother did, not you, and you don't have the children.
Correct.
Okay, so obviously I haven't reviewed your file, but that doesn't sound right.
Not at all. I agree.
When the case was closed the first time, were the kids placed with the mother, placed with you, or jointly?
With the mother.
What type of visits did you have?
There were none in the first case. They just returned them back to mom, and that was that.
Okay, so they didn't order you to have visitation?
No. And I don't understand. I don't understand why that was the case. But no, they did not.
Okay, so I can tell you that I would bet $1 that they did order some type of visitation for you, but you just didn't know it. And it sounds like, the more I think about it, that they probably ordered you to have monitored visits. And then when the case started over again, not because of you, but because of the old order, they wouldn't give the children to you because you had monitored visits and you never completed the domestic violence counseling. That's something that could have happened. I don't know, but that's something that could have happened based on what you're talking about.
Okay.
And the problem is that I think you may have gotten some incomplete legal advice, about the situation the first time and the second time. Because during the second time, you could have definitely had what they call a contested hearing, a trial, in order to prove that the children should be released to you. Are the children in foster care right now or with relative or what?
So my boys are with relatives, and my girls are with the foster family.
Okay, so the girls with the foster family, that's kind of a danger. It could be a danger with the relative too. If you don't get them out of there, I mean, you could lose your rights permanently. So
Yeah, I understand that.
that's something that I would definitely talk to your lawyer about.
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand what you're saying because right now they're making decisions that are highly unfavorable by me and mom, such as one of my daughters being put on medication, that I knew nothing about, and neither did mom.
Psychotropic medication, you mean?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, you got to find out from your attorney what that is all about, because you have certain rights still, even though the kids are in place with you. So I'd find out. Now, I'm not telling you your daughter doesn't need it, because I don't know, right? I'm not a doctor. I've never met your daughter. But I have heard of people complaining that their kids are being placed on psychotropic medication that don't need it, or that they're I've heard the allegation that they're given it to control their behavior so that the foster parent doesn't have to work as hard. I've heard all kind of, claims regarding the psychotropic medication. Now, as a general person and a non-physician, I get scared when I hear about people giving kids psychotropic medication. And there's a long process that has to go through in court. Not long, but a process in order for a kid to be authorized to get psychotropic medication. And here's the scary part. I'm aware of those procedures in different cases not taking place or not taking place the correct way. And the correct way is, number one, giving you notification. You're supposed to be given notification if anybody recommends that your child is supposed to be on some type of medication or specifically psychotropic medication. And if you don't know about it, I suggest you talk to your lawyer and find out, and or go to court with your government issued ID and get a copy of the paperwork and the minute orders and of your file in general. I bet $1 right now you don't have a copy of your file and your minute orders.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a copy of the order giving your kids, authorizing giving your daughter psychotropic medication?
Not the last one, because here's the thing. So the 6 month window that I previously mentioned, is I think where all these things are taking place. Because when I made contact with the worker, she knows nothing. I'm finding out all these things through my attorney, but the worker knows nothing. And then I spoke with mom, and apparently the medication has been given to her since like about a month ago. I didn't get a notice about the medication being distributed till like 2 or 3 weeks after that time period that she was already being given the medication, and then offered a hearing to be able to go dispute the way that I feel in a later date. So for about a month, she's already been taking medication without my notice. So I don't know if there was some type of hearing made in between, or if they can even do that, or I don't even know how that works. But apparently, some decisions were made that I was not aware of, and neither was the mom. And the court date is coming up in March 13th. So I feel like there was something that happened, but I don't like the last paperwork that I have is from the previous court date, which is about to be about 6 months ago.
Well, it's imperative that you speak with your lawyer and get information about what's going on. This is a very serious thing that you're mentioning to me. Psychotropic medication could harm or help. I don't know, but it could affect your child for forever. So definitely talk to your attorney. Send him or her an email, a text, something in writing, verifying, that you got to find out about this.
Well,
Because
so I did.
it's your child. It's not your attorney's child.
Yes, of course. And I did make.
Hold on a second. Miss G had her hand raised. Go ahead, Miss G.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys, but this is for the father. Bradford, they give medication to all the children who are traumatized leaving the home. Children want to be with their parents, and what they do is they medicate them. And this Nancy Schaefer said this back in the day when she was a senator before her death. She said that they medicate children on purpose to make it easier for the, like Attorney Davis, he assumed, maybe to make it easier for the foster parents, but it's to keep them silent. And what they do, they start slowly getting into their psyche, because children have the tendency to be manipulated easily, as we all know. So they get into their psyche to manipulate them. So your court appointed attorney, I don't know who it is, I don't want to know, but I don't trust them. Why? Because they are free for you, but they get paid by the state. So whether they work on your case or not, they're going to get paid. So to me, a compassionate attorney who actually understand the trauma they cause the children. Forget the parents for a second. I know the parents are dying inside. I'm more concerned about the child, our future, right? They would stop them from doing this. But what your court appointed attorney, and I will bid $5,000, he or she will say, yeah, I'll talk to them about it. Never happened. Never. They will never talk to them about it. They're just gonna give you like a delay, some BS crap just to feed your head, to make you have a little bit of hope, but they're gonna do nothing. Now, if they knew that you're a rich man, I'm being honest, 100%, if they knew you had money, they knew you're a well-off man, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna be scared that you're gonna get an attorney. Get it? They're gonna be
True.
scared you're gonna hire an outside attorney who would actually fight for your rights. You guys need to keep that in mind. The first thing the social worker asks you is that, are you gonna hire an attorney? What do parents do? And everybody experienced that. Ask your wife, Bradford, if they asked her. And what they say, and then the mothers always say, I don't have money, can't afford an attorney. My parents don't want to help me. And then they start talking. Like the social workers are their friend. Like they're going to gain something out of it. So stop it. Don't answer. Kind of plead the fifth. You don't have to respond. But do not take it. Don't think that the social workers are ever going to be on your side. You have to, please, I'm begging you, find a way to hire an attorney. I am going to discuss this on the show today. Attorney Davis doesn't even know I'm going to open this up, but a lot of you guys want payment plan. Okay. And I would like to help you. I actually would like to help you. You guys cannot afford an attorney right now. Let's talk about payment plan. Attorney Davis, I'm sorry to bring it on you this early in the morning, but I really want to help them because I didn't sleep all night. We had another person, another mother that killed herself in New York. She hung herself to death.
Was this
So,
recently?
that was like
Oh, boy.
3 days ago. Her sister called me. Yeah.
Because
So
of it? Because of a CPS case?
because the social worker would not get what the social worker told her she's not the offending parent. It was the grandmother, the paternal grandmother, that neglected the child. She was at work, the mother. So the social workers took the baby from her, the paternal grandmother, and doesn't want to give her her baby. She's a brand new mom, first time wife, first time everything. They took the baby from her,
Wow.
and she was broken. So when she called me, I couldn't respond to her on time, but she died.
I'd like you to put me in touch with the sister that called you.
The county, the government, they don't care about your child. They see your child as money. It's all merchandise to them. I want you guys to be mindful. These attorneys are not going to fight for your rights. They're not. Because that's just my opinion. I'm not saying, Mr. Davis is telling me these things, but they're not going to fight for your rights. Because that mother was so concerned. She really wanted her baby back. She couldn't stand the pain. Do whatever you can to hire an attorney. she couldn't afford us because her case is in New York. And I wish to God there's more people, more attorneys everywhere in the state that can stand up for what is right and help people and help children. If they have kids in their heart, if they have love for kids in their heart, they should be able to help them and do whatever they can to help them. And um, and that's why I spoke to Attorney Davis right now about payment plan. So um, depending on the case, that is, depending on the depth of the case, you guys. But if you're going towards termination of parental rights and your case is far away, you have to keep that in mind as well. We don't get paid by the state; we get paid by offering services. So I'm gonna do the best I can to help each and every one of you guys. And I swear, I'm not joking. I don't sleep at night. Sometimes I stay up all night texting mothers who are desperate. So sometimes my brain, after a while, it needs a shutdown. I can't talk to anyone, but I try my best to get to you guys as fast as I can. But I'm only human. I'm trying. But Mr. Davis, what are your thoughts about the payment plan?
I think it's something I thought over the years, the decades, but you know, after we get through with Mr. Bradford's story, maybe we can talk about it. I don't want to get sidetracked completely from the guest story, but
I'm sorry. Yeah.
it's all right. Mr. Bradford,
Sir.
I'm going to give you a list of things to do. You do not have to write them down because you can come back and watch the video of this. It'll be up forever on Facebook, on different channels, and on YouTube. The first thing, number one, you have to do is you have to talk to your attorney. You have to come up with a plan to get your children back to you. Period. Okay? That's going to be determined it's going to be determined based upon the procedural posture of your case, which I don't know and which you don't know at this point in time. Now, if you do have the minute orders and you want me to look at them, you can email them to Miss G and I will review them and I can tell you some more things to talk to your attorney about. Okay.
Okay.
I can come up with a different little plan for you that hopefully, you can discuss with your attorney and hopefully, you and your attorney can do something quickly. All right. So go ahead.
I'm sorry, but when you do send me the email, Bradford, please put your full name on in the subject line because I don't. People think I should know who you guys are. I don't know by just email. Okay, um, if you can do that for me, that'd be great. And also put like Nick, like in parentheses, just put from the show.
Okay.
From Saturday's show, something like that. So I get like a lot of emails a day, believe it or not. Okay,
Okay. No problem.
thank you very much.
Miss G, why don't you give Bradford your email?
Miss G A T. Actually, can I just put it, Mr. Davis? Can you just put it on the? Can I just send it to you in a private message and then copy and paste?
You know what? I'll just post it on all the
Yeah.
pages right now.
I think you know it by heart, right, Mr. Davis?
I do.
Okay.
Hey, Bradford, I just posted it on 8 different social media platforms, and it's GAT at vincentwdavis.com. Okay.
And you're in downtown. You're close. You're very close to us. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bradford. So Bradford, I'm going to mute you right now so I can cut out some of the background noise. I'm going to finish
that's fine.
telling you what I was telling you, and then we'll come back to you. All right. So the second thing that you have to do, Bradford, is after you meet with your attorney and you come up with a plan, you're going to have to make sure that you and your attorney implement that plan. That's different, okay, from coming up with a plan. Implementation is separate and it means everything. It could mean you subpoenaing documents and witnesses to your next court hearing. Now, I don't know what your next court hearing is. I don't know if it's appropriate, but I'm saying it could mean that. Okay. It will also tell you or let you get reports of information and letters of progress on your plan that you and your attorney may want to submit to the court on your next court date if it's not a contest or a trial date. All right. So when you talk to your lawyer, that's one of the things that you should be discussing with your lawyer. The third thing that I want you to do, I want you to take a look at your case and determine if you believe, just in your heart of hearts, as a layperson, whether your civil rights as an American citizen have been violated. If you believe that, I want you to make an appointment to talk to me about the possibility of filing a civil lawsuit, a federal lawsuit, against the county and or social workers. Okay. But notice I put that was number 3. That's not the most important thing in your case right now at this moment. The first 2 are the most important things, and they must be done. If I were you, I'd work on emails to your lawyer today. I'd send them today, and I'd follow up and call them. On what? On Monday. Okay. Go ahead. Let me unmute you. Bradford, did you understand what I said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Bradford, were there any other questions that you wanted to ask me today?
No questions. I'm just anxious to really get this situation taken care of, because at this point it's like they're just abusing power. No, it never was in the beginning, but like now it's just like it's not fun. You know what I'm saying? It's not it hurts in a way so much that how I really feel I cannot express, because that would be inappropriate. But just the pain that's there, and these people like to always talk about trauma. Okay, look who's inflicting the trauma. Like you I expressed to you that I was receiving mental services, right, for depression, anxiety, X, Y, and Z, whatever the case. What in your right mind or in their right minds makes sense to continuously inflict trauma on somebody who's dealing with those type of issues, knowing that people who deal with mental health have the highest rate of suicide?
Yep.
Almost seems intentional, right? Like, so if you ask me, they've crossed the line already several times. And they're doing it in a fashion to where it would make someone mentally unstable, or even more so. And we all know what type of things can happen, within those boundaries. So I'm just doing my best to stay strong. Like I really I don't have any room to play with these people anymore. And it's like, yeah, I do feel like I'm being misrepresented. Even with me making the communication with her, and her saying that she was gonna go find out this, and she's gonna communicate with these people. To their knowledge, the attorneys of the children didn't know this. It's almost like nobody knows anything. Social worker doesn't know. I asked about diagnosis. Nobody knows the diagnosis,
Right.
which I find hard to believe. And then they don't want to disclose information to me. Like,
You're right. You're absolutely right. They don't. I had a court-appointed attorney, right? I read I never. I can't say how I found out, but anyways, he's telling his client that he doesn't know when the when the court hearing is. And guess what? His client didn't know the court hearing already passed. He didn't know the court hearing already passed. He wasn't notified. That's how messed up the system is. That's how messed up the system is. That's in LA County, by the way. LA County is so corrupt. The social workers are so corrupt. So corrupt. They look at parents and say, you can't touch me. You can't sue us. You can't tell us anything. No one can touch us. That's how fucked up the system is in LA County. That's sad but you guys need to do your due diligence. Make sure that you document everything, date and time, social worker name, what they said, everything. Document everything. You guys want to have a good civil lawsuit? Guess what? You need to put your dots together. Okay. Number one, the first thing that should be important to you guys is the children. Obviously, get them back, right? But meanwhile, while you're doing that, make sure at 5:25 I emailed attorney blah 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 blah. Here is the email. Make sure you have everything in order, right? In order for you to have a good civil lawsuit, you gotta show paper trace, time, dates, names. Make sure that you do it right. Put your emotions aside. Emotions can really get us in trouble and can make you say the wrong things when you're emotional. Just try. And I'm not guilty of it. I sometimes do it as well, but try to put it aside. Put your emotions aside and focus on the what's important. Get everything done. Everything has to be in writing. Don't call your attorney and talk to them. No. Writing, email, text messages. Same thing with the social workers. And I want to speak to some of you who are clients, and I know a couple of you watching the show. Do not say Mr. Davis told you to speak to the social workers without the attorney. Do not, because I work for Davis. I know Davis, and I know for a fact he would never say that. And I was on a call on a couple of clients with Attorney Davis, and they actually said that to him in front of, like, I literally heard that. And what they do is they go and confront the social workers. Then, when they lose their case because they screwed up, then they blame the attorney for them, for the loss. No, that's not going to happen on my watch. You guys want to get your kids back? Do it right. Listen to your attorney. Do not tell me that your attorney in our office told you to go talk to the social workers. Do not, because I know our office. I know how we operate. So please do the right thing and listen to your attorneys. Because what's the reason of you hiring an attorney? What's the point? If you're going to do it your way, you think you're right all the damn time. You think, oh yeah, my civil rights were violated. Let me do it this way. I'm demanding this. No, you don't demand nothing. You need to listen to the attorney. I've heard this. And Mr. Davis, I mean, sometimes I feel bad for him because he just keeps listening to you guys. But he's trying to make you guys understand. He knows about rights. You guys think you know your rights all the way 100%? He knows the rights. He knows how to win cases. You don't. So there's different strategy for different cases. So please do the right thing. Don't think you're above the law. Don't think you're above the social workers. Don't think like that. Do not intimidate them. Do not threaten them. Because why? It's not going to get you anywhere. It's going to make you look like you're the bad guy. That's it. They're going to point at you and say you're crazy. But yet they created that in you, but yet they're going to point at you and say you're crazy. So just don't allow your emotions to get in the way. So please, I just had to throw that out there. That's all. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Hey, Mr. Bradford, any other questions you wanted to ask me today while on the show?
No, just no questions to ask, but I will be in touch because I feel like I feel powerless, but that is just an emotion, right? I know I'm not, but that's just how I feel right now. Like your assistant just made a very valid point. There's no point in trying to be He-Man and Superman and try to take on these people by yourself, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. You're just gonna. I know how that goes. So I'm gonna play it smart, and like I said, I'll just be in touch with you guys, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this. Because these people that's supposed to be on my side right now, it's almost like they're behind me. And we know how it goes when people stand behind you. Things can get ugly. So I'd rather have somebody on my side helping me move forward than somebody standing behind me and I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Bradford, I would like to thank you for coming on the show and sharing with us today.
My pleasure.
Greatly appreciated. I'm sure the viewers who are watching live and
Very
also
great, man.
and also the viewers that will watch this forever on social
Mhm.
media will appreciate you sharing your story. So thank you, and I hope to be in touch with you soon, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me on the show.
Alrighty, bye
Bye
bye.
for
Okay, Miss G.
I'm sorry, Mr. Davis. I took a lot of time, but I usually do. But
Fight CPS
when I
with
get
Miss
started, I
G.
can't stop. I can't stop.
We need to give you your own show.
I
Fight
do have my own
CPS with Miss G.
shows.
Oh, that's
I,
right, but you don't
I
do them, huh?
I don't have time. I want to start doing it though. Cassandra was like, "When are we gonna do it? When are we gonna do it?" I'm gonna.
Can I give you a suggestion?
Mm-hmm,
Um, I've been in collaboration with another attorney
mm-hmm,
that doesn't work for us, and she wants me to do a show with her.
mm-hmm,
These live streams on a whole different area of law,
mm-hmm.
and I agreed to do it with her. And what she wanted to do was tape the show either in the early morning hours or during the lunch hour,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you really aren't in court or not dealing with client telephone calls and that kind of stuff. And even when we made the appointment to do it, she still was too busy. Other things came up, emergencies. But I would suggest to both you and Cassandra, when you do your shows separately or together, that you might want to tape them, in the early morning hours or the late evening hours, and then just have Grace, our producer, play them, as live during the day or during a time when people are awake.
Right. But sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, viewers want to ask questions, and
You, you know,
and I want them to feel that I'm here, I'm looking at their questions, I'm paying attention. And also, you're forgetting I have millions of people that have my cell phone, clients and non-clients. So what usually when I do the show, they text me, Georgette, they ask me questions. So that's why it's not personal when you do it the other way. You know
but
what I mean?
here's the rub, the catch. Not doing it is not better than doing it taped.
But we are choosing a time where I can do it, me and Cassandra. It's going to work out just fine. It's not going to complicate, anything. And it's going to be fine. We
Huh.
already decided we're going to make it work. And also, I'm going to start doing the family law show with you hopefully soon, right?
Yes, I was just writing a note about that
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, to start it because we've been talking about it and talking about it. And just like I told Mr. Bradford this morning, talking and coming up with a plan is one thing. Implementing, that's a whole different thing.
Whole different
And
thing.
we haven't implemented. And maybe I'll talk to you or text you this weekend. We're just going to do it, just like Nike says. Just
Yes,
do it.
let's do it. I don't
Just
care
do it.
what time you choose. Let's just do it because I do have a lot of people who are family law cases. And they
You
said,
know,
George, all we see is just CPS cases, but mine is not a CPS.
right.
Yeah.
So I've been asked, or people have suggested, hey, Davis, do this, divorce show with me. Hey, Davis, do something on, civil rights. Hey,
Mhm,
Davis, do something on criminal law. You
mhm.
know, and
Yes.
a lot of here's something, I don't know if you know this or not, but 25 years ago, all right, when I was in partnership with Stephanie Davis,
Mhm.
who's now a judge in CPS court, when we were partners, we did a ton load of unlawful detainer, landlord tenant cases.
Yep.
And at the time, I would call myself an expert in that. And I still, do it when a client calls and say they have a problem. But, I was recently asked to do a landlord tenant show. Um,
Yes.
um, and it's kind of funny. I was
I
asked,
texted you that. That was 2 months ago.
and an attorney recently, I did a landlord tenant case for an old client,
Hmm.
and he asked me to do it. I said, okay. And we ended up in trial. And after the trial,
Hmm.
because we won,
Hmm.
after the trial, um, the attorney brought this up to me.
Mhm.
And since haven't been doing it a lot lately or in the
Mhm.
past, 10 years,
Mhm.
15 years, um, I don't know. I'm not known around town as a landlord tenant. So when I did the trial with this guy,
Mhm.
he thought he was going to win because he thought I didn't know anything about landlord tenant. It's just that I probably knew more than him because I was doing it 25 years ago, and he did, before he even became an attorney. So it was kind of a funny thing. I mean, he was very professional and everything. But yeah, apparently that's going to be a hot issue coming up,
Mhm.
especially in California as the COVID relief regulations and laws start to expire and they go back to, the way things used to be before COVID. But anyway, so to get back to my point, you and I have to do that family case or that family show.
I
We're
can't
gonna
wait.
we're gonna start doing it, and it's
Mhm.
just gonna be about family and family law stuff. It's not
Mhm.
gonna be about CPS, which is, what this show is about.
Do you wanna see something crazy? Or I'm gonna share something. This is all. This is see all these papers right here.
Mhm.
Preparation for family law show.
Oh, okay.
I've been preparing for over a year for family law show, but it's one of my other passion that I really want to make it happen with you because
Okay.
parents need to hear this. Really, they do.
All right. So you brought up a little something today, that I'm not gonna ignore. I'm gonna address it.
Hmm.
That was kind of a surprise. What, what were you referring to, Miss G?
About the payment plan.
Well, can you be a little bit more specific? I don't understand what you mean.
Um, Let me see. I wrote it down. Hold on. So we need to be able to help people who can't come up with the whole retainer. Like, say, for example, if their case is towards termination of parental rights, right? We usually
Mhm.
ask for a bigger retainer because it's a lot of work. A lot of people don't understand that it's a lot of work, but maybe we can lessen the retainer a little bit, right? And then make payments on the rest.
Well, I mean, in theory, that's a great idea. The problem is, we don't run credit checks. Um, we don't know people like that. I mean,
Right.
let me give you an example. What if we charge somebody $5,000 to do their case?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say it's the first case, the first hearing that's coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "Hey, Davis, I don't have $5,000 to hire you."
Right.
Okay, I get it. It's not, who has that kind of money laying around,
Right.
especially, and who wants to give it to a lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
So, but let's say they put down 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
How can you assure me that they are going to make their payments on the balance?
Right. That part I don't know.
That's the problem. If you don't run a credit check or you don't have some type of security, um, what do you do? Now, here's one of our biggest fans, um, that watches the show. I think she's a little late this morning, Miss Deidre Payne, but she's on. She
She's
says,
my she's a pain in my butt sometimes. I love you,
she says,
Deidre.
this is exactly what I had asked for. Yeah, Deidre, but here's the problem.
Mhm.
I don't know you. I don't know your character, your credit worthiness. We don't run credit checks. So how do I know? How am I insured that you're going to make the payment?
Mhm.
I mean, I've had cases where people have promised to pay me, and I win the case, and they still don't pay me. From a business standpoint, that becomes, a problem.
Mhm.
Just imagine if I lose the case, who's going to want to pay me, right? I had a lady ask me the other day. She says, "Can't you take a percentage of what we win?"
Right.
And this was in a juvenile dependency case, and I said, "Well, you've got 5 kids. Would you want to give me 2 of them if we win?" And she was like, "No, of course not." I said, "Well, what am I gonna take a percentage of?"
Exactly.
She says, "Well, don't you get money if you win my juvenile dependency case and get my
Wow.
kids back?" No, I don't. The only thing that we do when we win is we get your kids back when we get them home.
Mhm.
So you can't do a percentage. So, Miss G, I mean, since you brought it up, tell me, what do you think we can do to ensure people pay us?
That's a good question, and I can't believe you asked me that. You got me back on this one.
Believe me, it's a thing that has, I've been
I don't have an answer for you.
right. This is my 36th year of practicing law. Believe me, it's come up many times over 3.5 decades, and it's still that same ultimate question. You know, someone, I'm in talks right now with a client to represent them in another state. And they actually had an interesting offer because it's a lot of money for me to go to the state of Michigan to do something.
Hmm.
No, I'm sorry, it's not Michigan. These people are from West Virginia. From um, I got them confused with another person I'm talking to. But for me to go to the state of West Virginia, okay. So what they suggested is they don't come up with a huge chunk of money. They come up with a smaller chunk, but they put up some type of security. And in West Virginia, apparently, they own some type of land. And they asked me, would I take, a security interest or a lien against the land in order that I'm paid in full? And I said, you know what? I'll think about that, but that's an interesting suggestion. Right. And the other thing they offered was apparently they have a relative or friend that would personally guarantee the payment if they failed to pay or make the payments. And I thought, well, I mean, if that person had assets and security and good credit, I
Hmm.
guess I could do that. I don't know. But it adds a lot of complexity and steps to the whole process because people come to me, they want me to get their kids back. Okay, I understand that.
Right,
But, it's the finances that always complicate things,
right.
right? Um, I did a case with one of the other case managers in the office the other day, and I it was just a consult, an hour consult, but I discovered during the consult that some things needed to be done ASAP on the case, and the case manager made them a quote, um, and they said that was fine. And when it came time for me to start doing the work, they wanted me to do the work, but they, weren't responding to the request for the payment. Right. And as it turned out, they didn't have the money, but they just wanted me to do the work anyway, which is kind of, very difficult situation, not only for them, but for me as well.
But 'cause people don't think people think that you can just fund every case. It's not true. He has to pay his attorneys, believe it or not, that work on your cases too, and his staff. So it's kind of hard when people tell me that. It's kind of like it really gets to me. They're not. Um, I don't know. Some people are just demanding, and I don't like that. So don't call me and be demanding with me because you're not going to get anywhere. Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Believe
Just
me,
give
people.
me a warning.
Believe me, people. If you're trying to be demanding with Miss G, it ain't gonna work.
Mm-mm.
It hasn't worked for me in 6 years. It ain't gonna work for you. Here's our favorite viewer. Deidre says, how about you write up a contract legally binding and have the client's bank account information set up to have automatic payments taken every month? Deidre, that's a great idea. Something I thought about 15, 20 years ago. Here's the problem. What if there's no money in that bank account when it comes time to take the payment? What if the client closes that bank account and opens up another bank account? Right? There's always little outs on all of this, Deidre, if somebody decides they don't want to pay you. Or Deidre says, or a cosigner. Yeah, that's what someone had recommended to me earlier or the other day. And I think that's a great idea. But not every, if you can get a cosigner, maybe you know, that's something,
A
we could do.
co-signer, but how are we going to make sure the co-signer has also the ability to
I
take
don't
over?
know. you'd have to do some type of research, credit check, or asset search, which, is a cost by itself. If somebody says, "Hey, take this cosigner," and I have to run an asset search or a credit check, that might be $300-400. I mean,
But
if they were willing to,
maybe they can pay for that
yeah,
research.
maybe so,
Right.
maybe so.
Let's do that. Maybe it's worth a try.
Well,
I mean, I'm trying to help them. I'm sorry to put you in a spot like this, and I know we're coming towards the end of the show, but I really want to help them, Davis. I've been trying to think around it for a long time, and I guess my biggest revenge against the government is to get parents their kids back. I can't do anything else. What am I going to do? I'm not going to be a terrorist and go hurt them. But my biggest revenge against them is to make sure all parents have their children. And I'm trying. I'm really trying. We have to figure out something, please.
here's something that, okay, well, I'll tell you what.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what.
Hmm.
Because we do this show, we don't get paid. We do it to try to
Hmm.
help people.
Right.
If you come up with a plan, okay, and it could be tailored for every specific person. There'll be some people that have uh, a cosigner. There'll be people that won't have a cosigner.
Hmm.
There'll be people that will have a job. That some people that don't have a job.
Hmm.
There'll be people that own real estate or don't own real estate. I mean, everybody's different. But if you want to come up with a plan for each particular client,
Hmm.
I'll tell you what, I'll work with them and I'll work with you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because, I know that we're not helping enough people because of the money.
Hmm.
I know that. Here's Deidre. Deidre says, "Is not that I don't understand that Mr. Davis can't fund everyone, but people like me that can afford payments, but unfortunately don't have 5,000 upfront to give at once." Is Deidre not a client?
No, she wants to be a client, but she couldn't afford the. Her case was very complicated. It was towards parental rights uh, termination, and I gave a big discount. It should be more than that, but I gave her a big discount, but she couldn't afford it.
Okay, and here's what she says. She's one of our biggest fans, by the way, on YouTube. "That's why I haven't called you, because I was too afraid of saying no,
Hmm.
of you saying no, or you thinking I was not being realistic with
Hmm.
you needing to be paid as well."
She's
That's
great.
great.
She's a
That's
good person and good parent. I mean, I really want to help her. I really do, but I don't know what to do now.
okay. I'll tell you what, Deirdre, I'm going to let Miss G work out something with you. I have to
Hmm.
approve it, but you call Miss G today and see what you guys can come up with.
Hmm.
Make it fair to both of us now, Miss Payne. Okay, make it fair to both of us. And anybody out there watching this, if you can't afford, the money up front, I understand that. Very few people can. But if you come up with a proposal that's fair to both of us and gives me, some type of security that you will pay the balance as we go along, I'm going to go with Miss G on this one. I'm going to try to work something out with you, and we'll try to take on payments.
Yes, and
Okay.
also keep in mind. Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Davis. Again, I do that to you all the time, but do not come to us towards the end of your case. I'm begging you. We have three people Mr. Davis knows about. They call us towards the end of the case and they say, I wish we hired you sooner. Don't be
I get
please,
that call all the time.
please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Do not trust them. I'm begging you. Do not trust these people. Their goal is to get your children. That's it.
Miss G, there's something that you probably don't know. A couple
Hmm.
of days ago, I was at the office meeting with a guy that I met with 18 months ago.
Hmm.
He and his mother,
Wow.
and he didn't hire us, and I think money was the issue. And he's 18 months down the road, and he's about to lose his parental rights. He and his mother came back to see me, and asking me what could be done. I was telling them what could be done, but I said I have to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I can't guarantee you're going to win.
Hmm.
I can't. You've come to me. 18 months late.
Mhm.
I'm a lawyer. I'm not a magician. I said, now we can fight if you want to fight, and we can try to prevent the termination,
Mhm.
get you back in the ballpark. That's the best I can tell you.
Mhm.
Here's Miss Deidre says, hold on. Feel might be too late. So she says the remitter issue date for my appeals case was dated for January 30th. I just came across this issue the other day, Miss Payne. There are a couple things that you can do. Um,
Listen, Deidre.
there are a couple things to do, Miss G. The client that I met with yesterday, and we won't mention names, but I met with yesterday. This is her exact situation. Deidre, there's something that you can do. So if you want me to talk to you about that, try to make an appointment with Miss G. But you got to move fast because obviously time is ticking and it's ticking against you.
Yep.
Okay.
Move
Okay, Miss
fast,
G.
please.
Hey, Miss G, it's already been an hour on our 45-minute show.
Thank you for giving me that today. I appreciate it. I really do.
Sure. I will. First of all, I want to thank you for co-hosting today. And I know you have things that you do family-wise on Sundays. Our next show is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Are you available or not available?
Um, I wish you can change the Sunday show to 10. I wish because I would do it if it's 10
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, Miss.
or 9:30 at least or
Okay,
something.
Miss
Yeah.
Grace. Miss Grace. I hope you're listening. Our producer. Yeah, you're
Mhm.
still with us. I see you. Um, Sunday shows will be at 9:30 from now on to accommodate Miss G's schedule. Okay. So everyone listening, our show tomorrow will be at 9:30. Miss Grace, make sure you make those posts today on social media that Sunday shows are at 9:30, not 9 o'clock. And we'll be able to do the show tomorrow with Miss G and hopefully another guest. And by the way, if you're out there and you want to be a guest on the show, type or email Grace, GRACE, at vincentwdavis.com. She's our producer. She'll make arrangements for you to be on a show with us. All
Wait,
right.
don't end yet. 1 second. Stacy and Gonzalez family, you guys can reach me, email me right now at that email address that Davis posted earlier on the show, the GAT@vincentwdavis.com. Please leave your full name and your phone number, your cell, and I will personally call you today. Okay. If you guys need me, and I will be happy to call you. Just emailing me your phone number again, your cell number, not your home number, and I will be able to call you. If I can't reach you, I'll text you. I'll introduce myself. I'll let you know who I am when I text you. And I'll see what I can do to help you guys. I promise.
I just saw a, a post from Mandy P. You've been
Mhm,
watching for 2 years.
mhm,
Mandy P, I want you to write down the phone number 888 and I want you to call it right now.
mhm,
And you might not be able to get Miss G right now, but leave a message so that we can call you back and
mhm.
discuss this issue with you.
Yep.
Okay. I suggest you do it today because if you've been watching for 2 years, your case is getting towards the end and something needs to be done. Here's Miss Deidre Payne. Mr. Davis, you're in a very giving mood this morning. Well, Miss Deidre Payne, Miss G kind of put me on the spot, right? So don't give me that much credit. All right. Okay, folks, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow at 9:30, our new time for Sunday shows. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.